Evening, folks. Welcome to The View for an impromptu live stream. I did say I'd jump on tonight if something popped up, and something has popped up. And no, there's nothing on the official Leeds United site. But if I waited for anything to be on the Leeds United site, I'd be here waiting a while. So, but you're here, so premature, and you're still here, so that's all good. There is some news coming out tonight, and it is indicating that Leeds United have done their second deal, at least from the paperwork perspective. There is still a medical that needs to be done, and the player will have to pass that medical before anything is actually done. But there is a bit of news to worth talking about, so we'll have a little go. And as Paul from the Leeds Therapy has just said, here we go, and we'll give Fabrizio his props, and we'll go through this. But Fabrizio Romano has given us the big one, the big here we go. And we've got his tweet here now. We'll stick it up on the screen, and we'll have a little bit of a chat about this as well. But if it is too early for you, and if you think I'm going prematurely, you don't have to humor me. But here we are, and there it is. So according to Fabrizio Romano, an exclusive from Fabrizio Romano, and he says Leeds United agree a deal to sign Jaka Bijol from Udinese. Club-to-club deal is done. Here we go. Agreement, €22 million transfer fee with add-ons included and personal terms also in place for the centre-back to join Leeds United. New defender set for his medical soon, so we'll see what happens with that one. But yeah, it's been done and dusted. The €22 million roughly translates to in and around 18.5 million pounds. If we go back a week or so ago, Leeds' first bid for Jaka Bijol was rejected when Leeds tried to bid at the time what was £12 million, or converted to £12 million for Jaka Bijol. The rumors or the press around Italy were saying at the time that Udinese wanted 17 to 20 million pounds for the player. The likes of AC Milan and Bologna were willing to pay up to 17 million pounds for him. Sorry, lads. You don't have to watch, Nib. You just don't have to watch. You're here. You chose to click the video. I'm talking about this thing, so I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, okay? Yeah, so a couple of days ago, it was put out that they wanted 20 million pounds. The teams in Italy said that they were willing to pay roughly 17 million pounds. And Leeds, apparently, according to Fabrizio Romano, have agreed a deal of 18 million pounds with some interest from other clubs in this as well. Newcastle were rumoured to have gotten involved over the last couple of days. There were unconfirmed reports over the course of the weekend that basically had said, not from the most credible of sources, but basically it said that Newcastle had some interest in Jaka Bijol and were getting involved in it. It was confirmed then over the weekend again by local journalists that there was some level of interest in Jaka Bijol from Newcastle. But today, Graham Smith had a piece out this morning that said the Leeds were always hopeful of getting a deal done for Jaka Bijol this week. We thought it might be mid-late week. There was conversations in Italy kind of starting to take the piss out of Leeds a little bit that kind of said that Leeds are doing what they did with Rodrigo de Paul here. And if they take too long with this deal, they'll lose out to somebody else. But They didn't. They've gotten it done. Some people aren't happy, but some people are never happy. So address that one as you want yourself. But it looks like, for all intents and purposes, the personal terms were said to be agreed by the local media as well last week. It was just a case of agreeing a fee with the club, and that now appears to be done. 18 million pounds, 22 million euro. Leeds did remain positive throughout the negotiations of this. They did feel they would get a deal done. This deal came out and was initially put out by Baron Cross in The Athletic as an exclusive, and where he said that Leeds were confident of getting a deal done for Jaka Bijol, but weren't as confident of getting a deal done for Habib Diarra. As it's turned out now, Leeds have managed to get a deal done again on paper until the medical is done for Jaka Bijol. So that positivity appears to have been well placed. The rumored deal that he's signed is in and around 3 million. Sorry, is in around 3 years in the length of the contract. Some people have already said today seems a bit short. It's not going to help us with a PSR perspective, but that's assuming that we have complete control over every single transfer that Leeds do, and that we can dictate the full terms of every contract. Unfortunately, that isn't the case, and Leeds do have to make some sacrifices during the negotiations. That's why they're called a negotiation. If it is a 3-year deal, there is rumored again from reports that came out over the weekend that say there is no loan exit clauses, which is important to point out because that was obviously our Achilles heel during the last time in the Premier League. So all in all, it seems to be a pretty positive deal. We'll find out from the local media what the ins and outs of this in the next coming days when they get that done. Expect to see how could be all head towards Leeds United. The same people that are complaining that this isn't official were the same people complaining all week that Leeds hadn't done any deals. The window opened today, and here we go. Leeds have got a deal done. But, there are people out there who will find a cloud in every single silver lining, no matter how obvious it is. This is a good signing for Leeds. It's a top tier level signing in terms of experience, Serie A experience coming across to England. There's that question marks around the pace. Although what I've seen of him and with the clips I've watched of him, he doesn't look that slow. So I'm not sure how slow he actually is, but it seems done. Rune asking, is it a 5-year deal? I believe it's a 3-year deal, but that's not being confirmed, and that could change very quickly over the next couple of days. So again, just the rumored amount is said to be a 3-year deal. I'm fine, Leon. How are you, mate? You well? You good? Good to hear. A signing on the 16th of June. Yeah, it's 2 transfers in before the 1st of July. The amount of people that came after me in the comments over the last week saying that Leeds wouldn't be announcing or signing anybody until the 1st of July, like they had an inside track into what the club was doing, was phenomenal. But here we are now. Leeds have announced 2 deals. The paperwork and the finance of this might not go through to the 1st of July, but Leeds are moving. Windows open today, and Leeds have already signed between yesterday and today 2 players. Would I expect us to sign a player every single day for the next 50 days of the transfer window? Probably not, no, but it is a good sign that Leeds have got some stuff done early. Whoever said he was slow. Well, the pace was mentioned as an issue, as probably one of his weaker areas, but that's not to say it was his weakest area, just one of his weaker areas, which everyone believes that they have. Don't believe me. It's not the 1st of July. Can't sign anybody. Yeah, there we go. But we did say that they would announce some stuff, didn't we? And here we are. At least we're proven right on this one. Not that it matters. But yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a good signing. We've got the squad addition yesterday in terms of bringing in Nmecha, and now we've brought in a player that will likely go straight into the starting 11, a left-footed centre-back as well, which will offer much competition there. But let's have a little look at what he's done over the last 12 months. And if we have a little look at his heat map, he does play more centrally in a back 3 for Udinese, and that should be said. Luke saying, I'll be in the house. I will be on with the Only Leeds Bros at 7:30 to talk about Nmecha, but likely to talk about Viola as well. You can check that out over the lads' channels if you want. Yeah, so for Udinese, he plays more as a central player in a back 3. That kind of replicates itself here looking at the heat map, but he's not afraid to push on as well. He is a presence in the box. He's a big man. He's known for his physical attributes, which is much needed for Leeds. We just don't have that. And you look at who Leeds have brought in the last 2 days. It's 2 players over 6 foot in height, which was badly needed after last season. And Leeds did say they were looking to add more physical presence to this side for the Premier League. And we've seen football start to take a turn back towards the olden days of football, where maybe playing out from the back isn't what everyone wants to do anymore. Maybe going direct or playing 2 up top is starting to come back into fashion. And Jody says, we're cooking, we're starting. Now, there could be a massive gap between this deal and the next one. Don't lose the run of ourselves. We have an awful tendency of getting too excited too quickly, and that Pascal will likely compete for his place along with Bial. I mean, it's not a guarantee that he walks into the team. Nobody walks into any team, but there we go. Yeah. Leeds the first to make a move for Noah Siddiqui. The Peacocks have made contact initial. It's Union St. Gallis management with an initial offer of £10 million. That'd be an interesting one to have as well. I haven't heard anything on the Siddiqui rumours just yet, but keep an eye on it. We'll see. And if anything comes up between today and tomorrow, I'll bring it out in the news in the morning and we'll do a bit more digging. But I'll have a look into it. I'll see what we can find. Yeah, but if we have a look, last season, 34 appearances total, started all of them. Averages about 87 minutes per game, 2,964 minutes all up played, and he was in the team of the week in Serie A twice. Clean sheets, 8 of them. Interceptions, 1.1 average per game, which is not bad, but we'll look at that compared to Pascal in a second. Tackles per game, averages 1.3. Possessions, 1 the final third, 0.1. The recovery is the big one, 3+ per game is actually a really good number. So that's a decent one there. And that's probably what he's known for, his reading of the game, cutting out passes, but also those physical tackles where he likes to get stuck in as well. Dribbles per pass per game, pretty small, 0.6 per game, and his clearance is 5.4 per game. So he can come in, win the ball, and get rid of it. Sasha Tavaleri has come out with the Siddiqui one. He also came out with Beto as well last week, and I'm not sure about Beto. And he said Josh Sargent as well. So Sasha's throwing a lot of lead stories out there, and I did say a couple of days ago, if Sasha doesn't get a couple of these right, it's going to damage the rep a little bit. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on it, Liam. Thanks for letting me know. I really appreciate that. Penalties, he did give away 1 penalty last season, 1 error leading to a shot, but no errors leading to goals. We put him side by side with our current left-sided centre-back, Pascal Struijk. And he's just a year older than Struijk, but is a little bit taller than Pascal. And we all know Pascal is a very big boy. So he's got a 2-centimetre jump on Pascal. We'll ignore the, well, he was rated about 16.7 million euro, Leeds to pay 22 million euro with competition. So not a bad estimate. Defending statistics, he averages 1.1 interceptions per game. Pascal averaged 0.8. Tackles per game, he averages about 1.3 per game, where Pascal averaged 0.9. Dribbles passed per game, 0.6 versus 0.3 for Pascal. Clearances, 5.4 versus 4. And block shots per game, 0.1 to 0.1. So bang even there. And you've got to take into consideration the leagues that are involved as well. Leeds were playing at the top end of the Championship, where Udinese were in the middle of Serie A. So different teams facing different levels and volumes of shots and attacking threats as well. So it's not a bad comparison. He looks decent on paper. What we've seen of him in clips and that he looks quite good as well. But yeah, good signing to get in the door, assuming he passes his medical, which will be the next stage for this. And we'll likely get more information, again, as I say, from the local journalists over the course of the week. So as it is right now, Fabrizio Romano is saying it's an exclusive. Here we go. He does intend to get his exclusive, right? Whether you like him or not, he doesn't intend to. When he does say he's going, he tends to pretty much more often than not be wrong. Look, Shakira changed Sasha's name to Sasha Nixon. At least he doesn't put his stuff behind a paywall, does that as well. Jared, do you think he looks somewhat similar to Creswell? I'd say physicality-wise, yeah. Body shape-wise, yeah, but a different player. Interesting to see Sunderland actually mentioned as being interested in Charlie Creswell this summer as well. So it'll be an interesting one to get. Sasha ain't the one that did the same with Emmanuel Benson numbers. Yep. But he has got some right. And that's I suppose, when you're in that business, you're trying to get the exclusive, aren't you? So they tend to swing a little bit more often. And he has Paul says 374 watching. Hello, everyone. How are you all? If you could stick a like on it, that would be great. It will definitely help the video step up as well. And Craig is saying, so Pascal going? I don't think so. There's just a couple of options here. Leeds need, for me, and for most people, they would say Leeds need to have 2 players per side, per position. If you look at the right-hand side for Leeds, you've got Joe Rodon, question mark over a cover there. On the left-hand side, you had Max Verber and Pascal Struijk. Verber is leaving. So Leeds do need a second option in there as well. Also, it might mean, it's unlikely, it's very unlikely, but Leeds could move to a back 3 next season with Pascal on the left, Joe Rodon on the right, and Biel sitting in the centre where he does for Udinese. It's very unlikely because most managers don't tend to change their systems. I'd expect to see Farke play with a 3 at the back during pre-season, as he's tended to do that for the last couple of years to get as many players in the park and get the minutes as he can. So it'll be interesting to see what Leeds do there. But above all else, and what is really, really important, is its competition for places. And Leeds need that. We can't have a threadbare squad of players that can possibly fill in. Or Ampadu will have to drop in centre-half and cover while we've got an injured centre-half. It's nice to have bespoke players for bespoke positions. So it's an important one to get done. There was defensive reinforcements needed. It could even be Joe Rodon that drops out at some point. You could see Pascal playing beside him. But again, the fact that we've got that option is a really positive thing to have. So, and ultimately with all these signings, we're given an initial reaction of what we think about them, whether they're good or bad. But the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and we won't know really if this has been a good window, if these players are what we think they are, until they've got a couple of games under their belt. And again, going back to Jayden Bogle last year, I'm talking about 6 or 7 games under their belt before we start even forming an opinion on them, because Bogle was written off by a lot of people online inside the first couple of weeks of this season. And look at the season he went on to have. So it's about patience here as well. But yeah, it's an interesting one. It's nice to see it being announced as well by Fabrizio. And it just means that the nerves around Newcastle getting involved in this deal possibly go away now. And we'll wait and see what the local journalists say. But it's not done and dusted. It is a done deal as far as it says here. And I'm quoting the words of Big Fab. With a done deal here. That's where the title of the thumbnail is coming from. There is still a medical, but assuming he gets through his medical, he's already agreed personal terms. It's an interesting one. But yeah, we'll be told that the 49ers are just pocketing money and putting money in their own back pocket. But as Michael says, they've stepped up again in this one. But there's more work to be done. That's one of the priority positions done and dusted. There are now bigger positions Leeds need to look at, the more creative goal scoring end as well. Got to fill that left back spot. I know I missed it last night, but they need to fill that left back spot with somebody decent as well. Get a good number 10 in see what the situation is with the number 9 they're looking at bringing in, and then those 2 central midfield options as well. Can we get another midfielder in there and really bolster that spine of the team? And then the question marks will be, will Leeds go for a goalkeeper this summer or not? It's unsure, according to recent reports, whether Leeds will or won't go for a keeper. They're waiting on a certain caliber of keeper to become available before they decide to make their move. So it's an interesting one. Let me know down below in the comments what you think. I'm sure somebody's going to say they're underwhelmed by this, but that goes with the territory at this stage. So, yeah, it's okay, Baz. You can just catch up. It's not a long one. But we've, according to Fabrizio Romano, it's on the screen there, Baz. That's essentially what we're talking about here. According to Fabrizio Romano, exclusive, Leeds United agreed deal to sign Jaka Bijol from Udinese. Club-to-club deal is now done. Here we go. Agreement of €22 million. That's £18 million. Transfer fee plus add-ons included. Personal terms also in place for the centre-back to join. New defender set for medical soon. So we'll like to see him getting moving soon as well. I would say, yes, it is a priority as well. Heather is saying, hate to be the jet washer, but there's a flight into Leeds tomorrow from Pulsa, Slovenia, which isn't far from Uden, where Udinese come from. Coincidence? Probably not, Heather. Probably not at all. The fixtures, there has been a leak of the fixtures. I don't know if they're correct. We won't know till Wednesday till they actually come out. But myself and Andrew Stalton will be doing a live stream on Wednesday night to look at the fixtures and talk about where Leeds will be after the first couple and have a look at the more key periods of the year as well. So you can check that out on Wednesday night. And if you want to hit a like on the buttons down below there, just stick a like. That would be great on your way out the door. We'll wrap it up there. A massive thank you, as always, for everyone who's come along to join in the fun and have the light-hearted approach to these things, because it is, as I say, very early on, and we'll have to see if these players actually end up being anything worth talking about once the season gets underway. But for now, according to Fabrizio Romano, done deal for Jaka Bijol. It's a bit of a relief. We move on to the next one. We'll give you updates on this in the morning when we start to hear more coming out locally. And then as the week goes on with the medical and everything else, we'll keep track of what's happening with Jaka Bijol. But yeah, good, positive move. Enjoy the rest of your day. Really appreciate everyone jumping in and having a chat. And I will talk to you all very soon. Enjoy your day. See ya. Bye.